The W-2 is like the best weapon that you have, the best strategy that you have to eventually leave the W-2.
What is happening, amazing DeRosa Insiders community? My name is Matt Faircloth, and this is the Cash Flow Digest Show. Again, my name is Matt. Our company is the DeRosa Group, and we are a real estate company dedicated to transforming lives through real estate. It's what we do. It's why we're here. It's what we stand for. It's what we want to help you do. If you want to learn how to transform lives through real estate investing, we've got programs that can help you get there. This is a very special guest because this is the DeRosa team member. This is family, okay? This is DeRosa family member we're bringing on here, and I want to bring him on. And he and I are going to get into all kinds of cool stuff, talking about things, cool stuff DeRosa is up to and everything like that. So guys, let's bring in our guest for the day, Mr. Jacob Sandoval. How are you today, buddy?
Matt, I'm doing great. I'm super, super happy to be here. I feel like I made it. You know. I've watched so many Matt Faircloth videos on YouTube and different podcasts that you've been on, and now I'm here talking to you. So, you know, I feel like I made it.
Graduated. Look at you. Which Marvel superhero is he? I don't know. We'll have to find one. If I can be the Captain America meme and the Captain America avatar, we'd find another one if he's on the DeRosa team. He's made it, graduated. Thank you, Jacob. It's an honor to have you here in your very, very nice camera that you like to point out that I don't have in that. So thank you for pointing out that my little webcam does not match. You're very crystal clear. I feel like I'm looking into like a fish tank of like, it's perfect, not into a screen. It's lovely. Introduce yourself to the DeRosa following, to all our people. Tell us all about your background, where you came from, and all that. Give us the Jacob Sandoval origin story.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a recovering tech employee. So the past 11 years, I've worked in the technology industry. You know, your very typical 9 to 5. It was a great company that I worked for in the past, but I discovered my passion about 3 years ago, which is real estate investing. And so I have my own small multifamily portfolio. I've been acquiring knowledge, trying to figure out, get my legs underneath me, become obsessed with the concept of financial freedom. I took a Bigger Pockets multifamily boot camp by, you know, some group called the DeRosa Group about a year ago. And I loved you guys. I love Matt, Justin, and Hervé. They struck me as a really, really different type of multifamily syndicator, you know, one you could really trust, you know, ones that really were running the operations. And so kept in contact with you guys, and you guys had, you know, a little job opening. I decided to reach out, and luckily things worked out. And, you know, now I'm a full-time DeRosa employee, still very passionate about real estate, still working on my own real estate investments, and just really passionate about educating people about the power of real estate investing. And I still think that if financial freedom is your goal, real estate investing beats every investment under the sun all day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we're grateful to have you on board. I lovingly joke with Jacob that he's an IT guy. We came into DeRosa from IT, but I mean, the tech space is a very, very wide space full of a lot of smart people like yourself. And I'm very, very grateful to have you choose to drink the Kool-Aid, make the jump away from tech and into real estate, join the dark side, that kind of thing. So the lesson that I want to put out to people, that if you are, as Jacob was, in a job that you don't like, in a job that you hate, man, guess what, guys? Life is short. I blink my eyes and I'm freaking 48 years old, Jacob. And I'm like, oh shit, where the last 48 years go?
You don't look it. You don't
Thank
look
you, brother.
it.
I appreciate you. But matter of fact, I am, right? And so what I'm getting at there is, if you are watching this program or listening to this program and this video or whatever, and you are in a space that you don't like the job that you're in, you don't like the career that you have, you're like, man, this isn't going to get me where I want to go. I'm not jazzed for this job anymore. Time in life is short, especially if you're living a life that's not intentional and in the direction you want to go. Right. So do what Jacob did, guys. You know, I mean, you don't have to come pull the plug and work for DeRosa, but not for nothing. Pull the plug and do something else that you love to do, or that is really speaking to you, because time keeps on ticking, man. It sure does.
Yeah.
And you feel like Jacob did, and make a change, you know, and leave a cushy golden handcuffy job over here and work for some scrappy startup like the DeRosa Group, you know, or you could keep doing the job you hate. You know, well, I can't leave it because of the benefits, or I can't leave it because these golden handcuffs they got on me. There's a big bright world out there, guys.
One
One thing I will
say on that, Matt, is, you know, obviously wasn't an easy decision to make. I'm very glad that I made that decision. But for the people that are in their W-2s that, you know, they have been in a while, you know, you've worked hard to kind of progress through your career, I would say if you're not ready to leave it yet, which I wasn't, right? It took me kind of 3 years to make that decision and to kind of plan for that. Use your W-2, right? Use your W-2 and all the benefits that come with it, the income that you're making there, and make those investments in real estate. That's what I did for the past 3 years and kind of set the foundation for you to leave that job. So if you're not ready to leave yet, that's okay. I wasn't. It took me a long time to do that, but use your W-2. I always joke that the W-2 is like the best weapon that you have, the best strategy that you have to eventually leave the W-2. And so that's what I did for the past 3 years. And I encourage people to do that as well.
Leverage, I mean, leverage it while you can. I remember when I first got started, I leveraged my wife's W-2 so I could get qualified for loans.
There you go.
Because
Yep.
I'm scrappy startup investor with no track record when I first got started. So I needed my wife's W-2 to sign off on loans for me. So maybe to get the first couple deals under your belt, guys, you need that W-2. But there's going to be a gap, a point where it's just time to make that jump. I'm going to go off script. Okay. Now, guys, Jacob went from W-2 to W-2 when he came to DeRosa. But I know it's something that you talked about this a little bit, but somebody's popping in some really good questions here in that. So I would love to hear more about people talk about the decision and process between leaving a W-2 job to go full-time investor. Let me give a little more detail, Jacob. Details if possible to compare the current situation. All right. Wife and I both have solid W-2 making money, currently going
Yep.
through a flip. We'll make a good amount of money. Plus all the rentals are doing fine. You well on your way. We have a $60K liquid cash emergency fund, man. Okay. I need to type in real quick what your I need to know what your annual expenses are. I need to know what % of your annual expenses that 60K covers. So please, my friend that's watching this, type that in right now. So Jacob and I continue to analyze. Jacob, broad brush thoughts so far while I read the rest of this.
This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I came from the tech world, and replacing a W-2 tech salary through real estate investing is not easy whatsoever. And to be very transparent, I haven't done that quite yet. But I think at the end of the day, for you, you have to ask yourself, okay, what, like Matt said, are my monthly expenses? What is the cash flow that I'm generating outside of my W-2 job from real estate investing? Or maybe you have side hustles and things like that. You have to compare those two things, right? Because maybe you don't need all of the cash flow that comes from your W-2 job. Maybe you can survive on half of that. And for me, that's kind of what the decision came, was like, okay, can I do with half of what I'm making at my W-2 job? And can I supplement that with my real estate investments and other things like that? And can I bet on myself? That's one thing too. If you're very passionate about real estate investing, or if you're very passionate, about making a career in this space, if you want to bet on yourself, right? Because if you have a demanding W-2 job like I did, I was working 60-hour weeks in tech. I said, what would happen if I gave myself that time back? What would happen if I fully committed to what I was passionate about, which is real estate investing? Would I be successful? And the answer for myself was yes. So you have to answer, the nuts and bolts of it: cash flow, expenses. What does your wife think about this? I had to get my wife and her buy-in and her approval for me to leave my tech job. But
Sure.
Do the math, right? Get comfortable with it. But then at the end of the day, too, ask yourselves, Matt said, we're only here on this planet, as far as we know, for a very short amount of time, in the grand scheme of things. And if you are going to work hard and you are going to dedicate yourself and you're working on something that really lights you up, for me, I knew that I had to take that bet. I had to take that risk that I was going to be successful. And so I think that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, thank you a lot. And just to touch on, passionate while we're here, right? This person says, I'm passionate about leaving a legacy for my family. That's a great why, right? And by the way,
Absolutely.
The why that you ever want to invest in real estate, the why you want to build a business, the why that you want to, maybe leave a W-2 job has to be way greater than just to make money. I can promise you that, because I've made plenty of money and it's not anywhere near as rewarding as you think it would be, right? You got to have a bigger why behind it, like this, transforming lives to real estate. Here's my 2 cents to our friend here on Facebook. And it's great side, kind of slanted conversation here. As Jacob said, let's look at, if you add up the cash flow you're making from your rentals, right? Maybe the 60K that you're making from a fix and flip. I'm not sure. Oh, wait, are you making a fix and flip? Going to fix and flip.
60K was liquid.
Yeah. You're gonna make good money on the fix and flip.
I'm never liquid, Matt. To that person there, that's kind of the funny thing. My wife, she jokes. She said she's gonna make me a shirt that says, "I'm not broke, I'm illiquid," because that's always, everything's going into deals. Everything's going into real estate for me. That's my risk tolerance. That's not a recommendation for you guys, but for me, for my money, I'm putting it to work.
Put it out. Get it working. Get it working, right? So what I would say, and this is George talking here. What I would say, George, is look at the money you're making from your rentals, right? Look at the gap between that and what your monthly expense net that you need to make is. Okay. First of all, figure out what your burn rate is so far. I mean, Jacob knows exactly what the lingo burn rate, because he came over to us from tech, and all the tech companies are all working in burn, meaning like they're negative, and they're working through what savings they have until they can get a pop, right? Figure out maybe that's the way you have to operate for a little bit. So maybe you burn through the 60 that you have plus what you make in the fix and flip. And I'll probably make about 50K on the flip. Are you kidding me? So that means you're going to have 60 plus 60 plus 50, so you have 110. You might be upside down for a little while in burning. But the other thing you could do, and I've told a lot of people this as well, go out and get yourself not a job, but some other way to make money that's not going to require 40 hours a week. I've told a lot of people, go out there, spend the 2 weeks that it takes to go to school and get your real estate license, right? Maybe you hustle 1 or 2 real estate transactions a month, right? Don't make a career out of it, but do a few real estate deals. Maybe focus on investors. That means you go to the local RIA. Hey, I'm a local investor. I buy. I can also help you sell. If you're a local investor, I will buy your rental property from you, or I'll help you sell it. And if you're local, and if you want to buy rental properties, come to me, because I know all about rentals, because it's what I do too for a living. So maybe get your real estate license and present yourself out as a true investor understanding agent. You'll get a few transactions under your belt. That delta may be enough to cover your nut while you have 30, 40 hours worth of your week available to build your business. So there we go. That would be Matt's advice of the day. You got plenty of cushion. If you got 110K sitting on the sidelines, do it. What are you waiting for? Life is short. You got a great passion. You got a great reason to do this, George. Get out there and do it. George, you could, if you want to talk to us more, hit us up. And we have an accelerator program that's there just for people like you. We have multiple people in the accelerator that either just did or are about to quit their jobs, and we're coaching them through it. So
the water's warm over here, George. The water's warm.